FTX EU has started the process of allowing customers to withdraw funds locked up since its parent company filed for bankruptcy protection last November. And this comes as some clients are hoping the failed crypto exchange could get a reboot. Joining us now is FTX creditor Sunil Kavuri. Sunil, thanks for joining us. Sorry about your losses, but I wondered, what is your relationship and stake with FTX, and what has it been like since the collapse for you?
So I'm an FTX creditor. I traded on FTX, it's been difficult. Obviously, I had quite a large sum of money on FTX.
Can you say how much?
$2.1 million on FTX. Yeah.
So I understand your loss and how painful that is, to losing $2 million. I've lost, we've all lost money, but not like that. Nonetheless, reviving FTX, first of all, why would anyone want to do this? It's a very expensive proposition. You have to hire marketing, you have to hire developers, you have to hire C-suite folks and business development people and sales and all those folks. Millions and millions of dollars have to be poured into a brand that nobody trusts anymore. So exactly why would anyone bother doing this? I understand the pain of losing and hoping, it's almost like doubling down on something that's just gone. Why would anyone want to do this? And what do you expect to happen? And how much will it cost to do it?
Okay. So there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, so I have a lot of questions about this. This is questionable.
Absolutely. Yeah. I assume so. So I guess the key thing is that a properly run exchange is a very lucrative business, obviously. I mean, let's just take out the fraud or alleged fraud, what occurred, and all the lawsuits, etc. Let's say blank canvas, a properly run exchange is extremely profitable. And I looked at the financial statements, and which was built up by Kroll, the bankruptcy restructuring team. And it's extremely profitable. There are obviously FTX from the outset. If you introduced or implemented all the attributes that it was supposed to implement, it's a legitimate exchange. And in fact, that's the whole premise of the reason why I used FTX. For example, the VC backing, the board of directors, the operation control. So what VC wants to go into this with them again? I mean, like, who would want to? If I'm a VC and I'm looking at FTX and you're like, hey, guess what? Okay, sit down. We've got this thing called FTX. You've heard about it. The founder's in prison, is going to jail. And
2.0 and the 3 Arrows Capital, like new venture, new exchange.
I mean, look, people watch pro wrestling thinking it's real too.
I was actually referring to specifically a board of directors which has operation oversight. So what I'm saying is there's more transparency. The reason I was attracted to FTX originally is because of the transparency, and it was perceived as a institutionally backed and legitimate exchange. Now, I understand what has occurred, but those attributes can be implemented in an exchange, because otherwise I don't see exchanges at the moment implementing these facets.
So why don't they just get bought? I mean, like there are plenty of other exchanges out there that could probably buy the technology and implement it in some way. And wouldn't it be cheaper?
And wouldn't that help with you recuperating back your funds?
Yeah. So I think there's two processes. I think what people miss out, and I've seen this a lot actually, since joining Twitter, there's a lot of people who talk about the tech, but I think the tech is secondary. The biggest asset of FTX is the creditors, the customers. Everyone. I mean, for me, there's. In the end, customers are key. Now, this FTX exchange has 1.4 million unsecured creditors and 9.7 million accounts. I mean, this is phenomenal. These are creditors who were attracted to the exchange and actually will continue to use the exchange if certain controls are put in place, because you have to differentiate between the management, which is obviously SBF and its co-conspirators and all the other groups who may have had
Sunil, just wondering, as a creditor, what is your hope of getting, what proportion of your money back, and how do you think John Ray is doing as the current CEO?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done quite well, to be honest. I mean, to be honest, it was a mess when it actually went bankrupt, and it was, there's always criticism here and there, but I personally think he's done a great job. I mean, he's obviously you had to sort through what exactly transpired. No one knew where this $10 billion went. And he's managed to build up the financial statements. He's built up, worked out most of the money went to the venture fund. Like, I guess $5 billion went to the venture fund, plus like $300 million in real estate. You have loans to, $4 billion worth of loans to SPF and insiders. So I think he's done a good job, yeah.
And you're hopeful of recouping some of your funds?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's tough, I mean, the hopeful that we can recoup something. Obviously, there was a lot of spending, exorbitant spending, which it might take time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sunil, we hope you do recover some of your losses. Thank you so much for joining us. That was FTX creditor Sunil Kavuri.